This video is all about theme. In your narrative, if you are working towards a theme, which for most of us that is the effect that we are working towards, the key thing that you have to pay attention to in your story is the central conflict. What is the major problem in this story? Now, in my story, the main character is standing in front of her mother's old house, and she is remembering the last interaction she had with her mother before her mother died. So, what might seem like the central conflict is this moment when her mother dies in the car accident. But that's not the central conflict. The central conflict is actually the internal conflict that Katie has before she steps into her mother's old house. The internal conflict. And I know this because at the beginning, she's stuck. She doesn't know why she's there. She sits down on the steps and then she starts to remember the past, and she's thinking why she's even here in the first place. And then at the very end, she again goes back to those same thoughts. And so when I was writing this, I was thinking that my theme was something along the lines of, sometimes visiting a person's past can be a way to understand their identity. Or delving into the past, even though it's hard, can be helpful for some people to understand who they are. Something along the lines of past and present merging. You don't have to have your theme fully developed. That's okay. The reader will develop a theme from your story as long as you have a conflict and a good character, or a well-developed character, I should say. If you have those two things, a conflict where somebody is struggling against another person or an idea or themselves, as long as you have that conflict, you're going to have a theme. You don't have to put the theme into the story. In fact, please don't. At the end of the story, you don't need to write something like, sometimes we need to revisit our past. Because what that does is it kind of forces a message onto the reader, and readers don't like messages forced onto them. Readers like to experience the story and come up with their own ideas. So instead, let the character struggle through the conflict. Let the character change through the course of that conflict or not change. And then through the course of that character development and that conflict development, a theme will come through. So, if you're struggling with a conflict or a characterization, maybe visit those two videos to get a sense of how to develop your theme. Keep moving forward.